there, these are 1960s handcuffs. Now, we'll ask this gentleman here to try and open them. And then he bumps into them earlier, but he seems to be cold because of his camouflage. I've asked this young lady to come and help me. We've never met before, have we? Do you want to check that, make sure there's no pins, keys or anything like that in it? That wasn't me. The only way you're going to open these is with a key, which I've got here. There you go. Now, to show I'm not cheating, there's no pins or anything in there, is there? Right. Keys in this bag. This young lady to look after. I'm going to attempt to get out of these handcuffs, otherwise I'm stuck here all night. If you want to drag that around me, that's it, come around the other side. That's all right. So you can't see what I'm doing. Right, anybody here heard of Harry Houdini? Hand up. Yeah, right. Now I'm going to attempt to get out of these 1960s handcuffs quite easily. Thank you very much, young lady. Just like that. Thank you very much indeed. Now, I spent a long time in handcuffs. Between the ages of 13 and 29, I spent over half of it in prison of one sort or another. Detention centres, remand homes, ball stalls, prisons. Many different crimes, from letting pigeons out of a loft. I was interviewed by the police. We got away with that, me and the pigeons. I had a strict upbringing by a very strict ex-guardsman, but I didn't know what love was. And with a sister that was very poorly, I wasn't given any attention. When I found out I could commit crimes and get attention, I thought, oh, I'm going to enjoy this. But I've always had attitude. My wife found a primary school report from when I was about 6, where they were concerned about my temper. Those who know me now don't believe it. And I had attitude, with a capital A. I spent a long time, 8 years plus, in one sort of institution or another. Not like the prisons now, not like the new Bow in near Wrexham, where it's all luxury with iPads and toilets in the, you know. Have you ever seen Porridge on the TV? It's real life in those days, in the 60s and 70s, with 2 or 3 to a cell. And I'd been in and out, I had jobs, didn't do very well. I came out of prison one day and I thought I'm never going back, and ended up back in trouble. And I thought I'd do a runner from the police rather than go back to prison, and ended up in France. Well, I got arrested in France for another crime, and they said, do you want to join the army? I thought, why not? So at the age of 19, I'm locked up, and then I get shipped off to the Foreign Legion. Well, after nearly just over a year, they kicked me out because of my attitude. And I did. I was seriously disturbed, both physically and mentally. And I didn't respect authority whatsoever, anything like that. In prison, I was always in the block for refusing to obey orders, things like that. Put in isolation because I was so disruptive and violent. It's just how I was. On my last prison sentence, at the age of 29, I was in there with some friends, and my mate came up to me and he says, "Hey, Billy, I found Jesus." I thought, oh, right. Why, was he lost? And I said, good for you. And he was different, but I thought odd. And one of the things about prison is you go to church every day to get out yourself for an extra hour. And the vicar will stand there and tell you that Jesus died for you as a sinner, which didn't do anything, because nobody explained. Well, on my last prison sentence, I got a letter from the wife, don't bother coming home, I've got somebody else. Now, I've been married 3-4 years, 2 young children, and I thought it was great. I was in love, but I was in love with the relationship, not the person, because I didn't know what love was. I'd never been shown love by my parents, and it didn't work. So a week before I was due out, I got a Dear John letter. Now, the prison officers knew me, the others knew me, and they just left me alone. They said, you go, I said, leave me alone, and they did. Even prison officers would stay away from me. My mate came up and said, right, you're coming out, stay at my place when you get out. So he got out 2 days before me. I come out, he picks me up, we go back to his house. We walked into this church, and they're all there with their hands up in the air, happy, clappy, and I thought, what a bunch of nutters, turn around and walk back out again. Because I've been to church every Sunday in prison, where they stand there and you've got to be quiet and miserable looking. And you stand up and sing a song and sit down again. Real nothing. And this lady come up to me and said, do you know who Jesus is? I said, what do you mean Jesus is? He died. I've been told that for years. No, all that peace, that joy, that contentment, that healing can be all yours. And all you've got to do is give your life to Jesus. And I thought, no way. No way. I'm living on a friend's sofa. I've only got the clothes on my back. I can't see my kids, anything. No job. So a couple of days later, I'm walking down the road, looking around, making sure nobody can see me, thinking, okay, God, all I've got to do to get everything you want is for me to give my life to you. It can't be that simple. I said, okay, you want it, you can have it, do what you like. And suddenly, for the first time in my life, I laughed on the inside. I had no idea what it was. Something different. I went back to my mate's place. He said, there's a job going. So I went, got this job work loading fruit and veg lorries at night. One of the guys says, oh, there's a bedsit opposite me. A couple of days later, I got my own bedsit. I see a little sign in the taxi shop window, radio operator wanted, 6 till 10 in the morning. I thought, well, that'll do me. I've got evening job, morning job, day to myself. I'm laughing. 2 little jobs, nice, happy. I thought, strange this. Bit of a coincidence, I think. But my mate says, no, this is God working in your life. I said, yeah, right. I get a message from my wife. I'm giving you the house and kids, I'm going off with my boyfriend. So there I am, single parent, with a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. All on my own, not knowing what to do. So, I mean, we're talking 36 years ago, where there wasn't no such thing as male single parents. I used to have to take the little one to school, pushing another one in a buggy. The only male in the school, dropping children and picking them up. Weird. Got to know a family. Nicest, gentlest people you've ever met. They told me about who Jesus is. And they gave me a Bible. Now, I know about Bibles, because in prison you get a Bible, and the pages are really thin and great for making tobacco paper out of. And this lady says, read Ephesians. I thought, Ephesians? So there I am looking under EF. I'll eventually find it. It's in the new part of the Bible. It says, 4:28, the man who used to rob must stop robbing and use his hands to work for good and help the poor. I had a problem with the second bit because I look after myself first. So there I am, a single parent, new Christian. I've got to give up my old lifestyle because the Bible said I had. What do I do? And I'm feeling miserable, and I mean miserable. Round the corner from me is an off licence. So I run round, grab a bottle of wine, back indoors. I spent over half an hour trying to find a corkscrew. I even thought about putting a nail upside down and knocking the cork through, just to get to the wine. In the end, I said, okay, God. And I put it on the side. Forgot about it. Now, this is how God works. Come home from a meeting one night, put the children in bed. Now, considering there's only 2 young children, one can't even really walk properly, and I'm feeling great. I thought, I've got some wine in the fridge, I'll celebrate. I open the drawer, I pick out one corkscrew, then I pick out a second corkscrew. And I'm looking at these corkscrews and thinking, where were you a couple of weeks ago? Because I could have done with you. And as clear as I'm speaking now, I heard God say to me, if you want to drink to celebrate, that's fine. You want to drink to feel sorry for yourself, don't. Don't go to the bottle. Come to me. I thought, okay then, I won't drown my sorrows. Eventually my wife came back, didn't work out with her. I took her back. Didn't work out. She got somebody else again when I was working. I thought, forget it. 3 times I took her back. And I was only beginning to realise what love was through a relationship with God. Because this guy, an ex-tank commander, said, there's a thing called the Holy Spirit, which I knew nothing about. We prayed, and other things started changing. And how developed things, I look back and I think, well, that's a coincidence. I realise now, as a Christian, it's a God incidence. Because he's real. And everything I've been through, from the Foreign Legion through prison and everything else, has never been wasted. I was on probation. I had the dubious honour of being the first person in West Sussex to do community service, the alternative to prison. That was 40 odd years ago. Only 45 years ago. And now you get community orders, and where you have to go out and pick litter and stuff like that. Well, the only job they had was painting the laundry of a convent. So I even had Catholics praying for me. And it's like, oh. So God had his hand on my life well before I became a Christian. That's all I can say. I became a different person. My attitude changed. After my wife, the last time we split up, I was thinking, really angry. And I'm walking home from seeing my children. And it's a 4-mile walk, and I walked past this church, and it said, 3rd Sunday of the month, evening prayer meeting. I thought, great, because I need to do some praying. So I go down there. I forgot it was December, and the 3rd Sunday of December was the Christmas Carol service. So I'm in this Anglican parish church, really lively, all happy singing away. The message I thought was for me. I started singing the last song. My favourite hymn from Christmas one is "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." And I'm skipping up the road after the service, and I'm feeling God saying to me personally, don't come to me in dirgeful, mourningful prayer. Come to me in rejoicing in everything. And I thought, yeah. And things changed. Eventually got my own place. Saw the children regularly. And I was on my own for so long. Now, they say that poachers make the best gamekeepers. Well, I got a job as a security guard. And I'm looking after this derelict convent just outside Brighton. And I get told to go report to this site, and there's a young lady on there, on her own. And it's a 2-man site, but they let me do it on my own because of my size and being the attitude. And I said, no, I'm going to stay with you. And she didn't like it very much. No, I was doing the nights and she came to relieve me. I said, no, I'll stay on because it's a 2-man site. And she thought I was bolshy and I thought she was a snob. And then we started doing railway stations between Brighton and Haywards Heath. Now, it's not the nicest area. They had a McDonald's in Burgess Hill set fire and burnt down 20 odd years ago. And they expected us to look after the place. And my future wife was told that she'd be working with me. And she says, I'm not going to work with him. He's a Bolshevik, chauvinistic Bible basher. I said, oh, right. Didn't find that out till later. And she worked with me for a few weeks, and she said, there's something different about you. And I said, well, if you ever want to chat, you've got a problem, give us a ring. It's the sort of thing you say when you're a Christian to people. If you know, I'm here if you need us for a chat. Not really meaning it. Well, she phoned me up that night, or that morning, and said, did you mean it? Yes. Yeah, I did. And we met down on Rustington seafront, just outside Littlehampton. If you look at a map, you've got Brighton, Portsmouth, joining in the middle, you've got Worthing, Littlehampton. And there we were. And sat on the beach, on a stony beach, and I said, whatever decision you make in regard to the relationship you're in, stick to it. Don't change your mind. Well, it was to do with her partner. She threw him out, and that was it. Then she says to me, how do I become a Christian? So I told her the story of a guy called David, Jonathan, and Jonathan's son, Miffy. I can't remember his full name. You know it, didn't you? Jonathan's son, Saul, Jonathan, and his son, Miffy. That's it. Miffy, yeah. And I explained that the guy was found, and he said to, okay, kill me, because that's what you want to do. He said, no. David said, look at the marks on my hands. That's a pact I made with your dad, Jonathan. If you acknowledge that and accept that, you can have everything that would have been yours. And I said to this lady, Jesus has got marks on his hands from dying on that cross. And if you accept that and what he did for you, things will change. And she gave her life to the Lord a couple of days later on a grubby railway station. Things haven't always been easy, been up and down. I proposed to her. I left a message on the answer phone. She kept it on there for 6 weeks. Proposed on Christmas Day. We got married on March the 1st, 21 years ago. We've got a 19-year-old son. And we emigrated from the south of England to Wales 20 years ago. Don't worry, I've got a phone. And God has changed many things. The wife's been out to Africa. We've been to the Philippines. I've been to Sri Lanka. We've been to Egypt. Doing what's called missionary work. We just go out, take Bibles, speak to people, speak in churches, telling people who Jesus is. Not was, not could be, but is. And all that healing, all that joy, and everything I've been through hasn't been wasted. I had a probation officer come up to me and said, Billy, I've got a guy who wants to join the Foreign Legion. Would you have a chat with him? So I chatted with him a couple of weeks later. He decided not to join the Foreign Legion. He married his girlfriend, and they've got a couple of children. Everybody's happy. Because God used it. Used every situation. So no matter what situation you're going through, nothing's wasted for the kingdom of God. And it's the same today. Nothing you're going through could be wasted. Because God can use you no matter how you feel. And it is simple as looking at the hands, look at his marks on his hands, and the fact he loves you that much that he suffered that so he could embrace you with his love and his grace, because he cares. I never knew anybody cared that much. I never thought anybody cared. My wife's here tonight. Our son's going off to uni next month in Liverpool. You couldn't be prouder. God's working. He's doing many things. I talk about my past because it's where it is. I don't look too far to the future because it's not there. But here and now is where I am with God. And God is here. And he wants to meet with some of you tonight. So if there's any thoughts, anything you want to know, there's ways of contacting. Okay? There will be time for bits afterwards. So I'll leave it with there. And we'll just see how things go. Thank you.